Good day, grade 12 learners. Welcome to today's tourism lesson. My name is Evans Maponya. This lesson is brought to you by the Gauteng Department of Education in collaboration with Saibono Discovery Center. Right, grade 12s. Today's topic is World Heritage Sites. Not everywhere in the world, but we are going to focus on World Heritage Sites that are found or rather located in South Africa. Here are some important aspects or the objectives of this lesson. At the end of this lesson, you must be able to know the following: the full description of all World Heritage Sites, and the acronym is WHS, that are found in South Africa. You also are expected to know locations of them on the map of South Africa. You are also expected to know how they meet the UNESCO criteria. You must be able to recognize the logo and know the main function and role of UNESCO regarding the World Heritage Sites. You must be in a position also to evaluate the status of World Heritage Sites. Where will this topic be assessed in your question papers? This topic, you will only come across it in section E, and it is question number 5. You'll meet this topic or questions on this topic in a control test, in skills assessment tasks, in the PET, in the preliminary examination, as well as in the final examination. What is a World Heritage Site? Or what are World Heritage Sites? World Heritage Sites are places of outstanding universal value and have been awarded international recognition by UNESCO, that is by the World Heritage Committee of the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. So this organization, with its acronym UNESCO, it means in full the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. So within this organization, within this world organization, there is a committee that specifically deals with matters of heritage. Right, I just want to reflect back on the first line of our explanation of World Heritage Sites. It says, there are places of outstanding universal value. So this is not just only a place, it is outstanding. It stands out when compared to other places, and it is of world value. So the whole world want to experience this kind of a place. So it must be outstanding, and it must show some attributes of universal value. And UNESCO, we are saying, it awards, it recognizes such places with outstanding universal importance or value. In the next bullet, as we further explain what a World Heritage Site is, It says it's a special title or a special name given to certain places around the world. World Heritage Sites belong to all people of the world. It is not only confined, it is not only looking at the people of a country in which it is found. So it is most important to all people around the world. It belongs to all nations of the world, irrespective of their territory. Territory here suggests that if it's found in South Africa, the World Heritage Sites does not only belong to people of South Africa, but the whole world takes ownership of such a World Heritage Site. As we further explain what a World Heritage Site is, we are referring to sites that reflect the best example of cultural and natural heritage across the globe. So a World Heritage Site must either express some cultural element, natural elements of heritage in it, or a combination of both cultural and natural. We'll elaborate much as we further move or as we further look into this lesson. The World Heritage Sites are irreplaceable. They cannot be replaced or cannot be swapped for anything else. So sites are irreplaceable cultural and natural areas around the globe, and they must portray some cultural, natural, as well as historical importance. So these elements must always be found in a World Heritage Site. It has to be either cultural, natural, or must show some elements of historical importance in it. These are some of the attributes, some of the elements that will define a World Heritage Site for you. It must also portray special qualities of the place that needs to be protected for the whole world to experience. Not only any quality must reflect in the World Heritage Site, there have to be special qualities, special that makes it outstanding, that makes it very different from the rest of other places. And by portraying such special qualities, it must be protected for us and the entire universe to see or experience. The UNESCO logos, as it was ascribed in the concepts that you have to familiarize yourself with, and you have the UNESCO logo. This is how it is reflected, or this is how it is transcribed. So whenever you see this sign, it stands for UNESCO, and we have already explained that the acronym UNESCO refers to, or in full refers to, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. So in some assessments, you will be asked to write UNESCO in full. So it is essential for you, it is important for you to know what UNESCO stands for and be able to write it in full. And at the same time, you need to know the reverse of it, like United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. If they ask you to write the acronym, you simply write UNESCO. And on my right, you have the World Heritage Convention logo. So for each World Heritage Site, you will find, or you will be able to establish if a place is a World Heritage Site by identifying this logo. So wherever there is a World Heritage Site, the first indication for you would be the logo as indicated on the slide and this presentation. Now, the role of UNESCO. The role here, we are referring to the functions of this body or this world body known as UNESCO, or in full, the United Nations Educational and Scientific. To encourage the identification, protection, and prevention of cultural and natural heritage around the world, considered to be outstanding value to humanity. Let's look into this statement. It says, one of the functions of UNESCO is to encourage us to identify, to protect or conserve, as well as to preserve the cultural and natural heritage around the world. And such heritage site must be considered of outstanding human value. It must derive some kind of value that is of paramount importance to humankind. One other role of UNESCO is to create a dialogue between civilization, cultures, and people based on the respect for common shared values. It creates discussions and communication that should happen between, or that focuses on civilization, culture, people, and it must be based on respect of common or commonly shared values. Here are your types of World Heritage Sites. Our World Heritage Sites are categorized into three. One, a World Heritage Site is declared because it is cultural. Secondly, it has to be natural. And lastly, will be a mixed. A mixed here refers to a combination of cultural and natural elements that may be found in a World Heritage Site. A cultural World Heritage Site, let's try and explain those elements, those cultural elements that we find in a heritage site. Cultural World Heritage Sites are consistent of buildings with outstanding universal value from historical, artistic, or scientific point of view. It refers to buildings or structures of outstanding value, universal value from a historical, artistic, or scientific point of view. So the key word here for us is that whatever the building looks like, it must show some outstanding universal value. It must have elements that it's valued all over the world. A cultural World Heritage Site also refers to monuments, including architecture, sculpture, and painting, archaeology, inscriptions, and caves. So that defines heritage for us. The architecture refers to basic designs or structural designs that are outstanding. Sculpture here include carving of rocks, wood, to create some symbol or pictures of memories, such as statues. It also refers to paintings. So as tourists move around, to indicate that once in a lifetime they've passed a certain place, they will put a paint as a sign that they have at some point in their life have experienced such a place. Archaeology simply refers to investigation of old materials that are of value to us. So archaeologists will dig deeper to find how things have come to be. We'll further define this as we look into some of the World Heritage Sites that are found in South Africa. Inscriptions here refers to the writings that we find in different areas of the world, and mainly here we are referring to World Heritage Site, and also the caves, which are self-explanatory here. The cultural World Heritage Sites also are characterized by people or combined works of nature and people, and areas such as archaeological sites. The sites include groups of sites, buildings, and work of art of people with historical value, with historical importance. Example here are places like monuments, the historical remains, the buildings, and the architecture, as I've attributed to various designs, various special designs in the world. Natural World Heritage Sites, as opposed to cultural World Heritage Sites, these sites are habitat to threatened species of fauna and flora. Sites with great value in terms of science, in terms of conservation, and/or natural beauty. Let's try and unpack this statement. These are habitat. Habitat refers to a place of stay. So this is a natural place for our threatened species. So a place of living, a natural home for our threatened species of fauna. Fauna referring to the animals, and flora referring to the plants that attracts us as people who are concerned with nature. So they don't have to be any fauna, they have to be special and must show some great value in terms of science, conservation, otherwise referred to as protection of those species, as well as we are concerned much about the beauty of nature. These include natural features consisting of physical as well as biological formation or groups of formation. So the physical here suggests natural, and biologically is more concerned about certain the processes of existence that are responsible to such formation of World Heritage Sites. So both physical and biological explains the natural aspect that qualifies a place to be a natural World Heritage Site. Habitat, or the natural home of threatened species of animals and plants, it's also what natural heritage sites prioritize. Natural sites with great value in terms of science, conservation, as well as natural beauty, forms the package for a natural World Heritage Site. Here you have your examples as forest, coastal areas, mountains, as well as the flora and the fauna, which we said are the animal and plant species. Mixed World Heritage Site. This refers to sites that have both characteristics of natural and cultural heritage site. So it combines both the features that we find or that could be found in a natural and also in a cultural heritage site. Example include one of our World Heritage Site, which is the Maloti Drakensberg Park. So as you can see here, from my left, you have the natural features here in mountains as well as rivers, and on the other side, you have carvings of rocks as well as paintings to express the culture of a certain community that existed during this time in history. Here are your 10 World Heritage Sites that you are required to know by heart, and looking into the factors that, as we introduce this lesson, that you should look for. Aspects such as location of the site and features that characterize the World Heritage Sites. The first one is Ismangaliso Wetland Park. You are required to know and understand. Followed by Robben Island. Followed by fossil hominid sites of South Africa. The Maloti Drakensberg Park. Mapungubwe Cultural Landscape. The Cape Floral Region Protected Areas. The seventh one being the Vredefort Dome. The eighth being the Rechtersveld Cultural and Botanical Landscape. The ninth one is Komani Cultural Landscape. And lastly, you have Barberton Makonjwa Mountains. Right. I just want to reflect on a few of them. The third one we said is fossil hominid site of South Africa, and formerly known as the cradle of humankind. I also need to point out, in reference to the ninth one, the Komani Cultural Landscape, which is preceded by a hashtag sign. So this hashtag sign, as well as the name, forms a package. So when you are required to name this, or when you come across questions that involve Komani Cultural Landscape, please include this hashtag alongside with the name. So from here, we are going to discuss and outline each of the 10 World Heritage Sites that are prescribed for this academic year. This World Heritage Site that we have attributed for in the previous slide are located in this map, and this is a representation of the 9 provinces of South Africa. This is our South African map, and the 10 World Heritage Sites are distributed in various provinces, in various locations of this South African map. So we are not going to learn World Heritage Site outside the confines of South Africa. The focus here is mainly South Africa, and UNESCO has identified and authorized 10 World Heritage Sites. We are going to reflect on them one by one as we further the discussion on World Heritage Sites. This World Heritage Site, if we are to talk about the distribution on the map, here are how they are distributed on the South African maps, 1 to 10, and it corresponds to the names that we have indicated prior. That 1 on the map will represent Ismangaliso, and 2 Robben Island, and so forth. So here is the distribution in South African provinces or on the map. As you might realize, some provinces will have more than 1. If I have to give an example here, as you look at the Northern Cape, that is 8 and 9. There are 2 World Heritage Sites. The Western Cape, also you have 2 World Heritage Sites. And KwaZulu-Natal, you'll have also 2 World Heritage Sites that are indicated here. And the rest of the provinces have one each. Provinces such as Limpopo at number 5 will have one. Provinces such as Mpumalanga at number 10 will have one, and you'll have also one in Gauteng. So the province without a World Heritage Site, as indicated on the map, is the Eastern Cape. However, this World Heritage Site, which is marked number 6, extend a bit towards the Eastern Cape, but because majority of such protected areas are found in the Western Cape. So for now, the Eastern Cape is the only province that does not have a World Heritage Site. All the other 8, it's either they have or they share. It's found between the borders of the two provinces. So it is important that you familiarize yourself with the South African map, with the 9 provinces, so that you can plot the location of this World Heritage Site as effectively as required. Here is another map that further shows where the 10 World Heritage Sites are located, the exact spots and places where they are located in the map. Like we have related with the numbers and the names earlier on. So you'd have here in the Northern Cape, you'll have the Rechtersveld Cultural and Botanical Landscape. That is its location where there is a star. In the Eastern Cape, you'll have Robben Island. The star here indicates the actual position of the World Heritage Site. In KwaZulu-Natal, you'll have the Maloti Drakensberg Park. Here is the location just on the Lesotho border, which is a neighboring country to South Africa. So Lesotho is landlocked by South Africa across all its borders. So it is a landlocked neighboring country next to us, and happens to be fortunate to share Maloti Drakensberg Park with South Africa. But we will further explain that when we get into the heritage site itself. You'll have Mapungube in Limpopo, just on the border post of South Africa and neighboring country, which is Zimbabwe. You'll find the cradle of humankind in Gauteng and extends over to the Northwest Province, and as I've indicated, its new name is the fossil hominid sites of Sterkfontein, Swartkrans, Kromdraai, and the surrounding environments. So the fossil hominid sites of South Africa, as the cradle of humankind is known, consist of different areas, and it's spread from Gauteng to the Northwest Province. In the Free State, you'll have the Vredefort Dome. Here is its location, and as you can see, like the fossil hominid sites, it's also shared between the Free State as well as the Northwest Province. So, like I've indicated before, it is of paramount importance to relate this World Heritage Site as well to the provinces within which they are found. So, World Heritage Sites cannot be studied in isolation. You need to have the knowledge of places that these World Heritage Sites are found. Now let's get into the discussion of World Heritage Sites, starting with Isimangaliso Wetland Park. This is how you should write it. You are not going to change its name because you are to lose marks if you don't write it or if you don't correctly spell it as indicated on the slide. Isimangaliso cannot be Simangaliso Wetland Park. It has to have an I in the beginning because it's a name. It's a name. Thus, it has to be written as indicated. So this is the Isimangaliso Wetland Park, and this is how you should write it. A lot of learners are losing marks because of the incorrect spelling and the way you write or you swap words within the World Heritage Sites. Also, you are getting discredited for swapping around the words that are found in the name of a World Heritage Site. The picture here depicts the Isimangaliso Wetland Park, and its location is the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Isimangaliso Wetland Park is found in the province of South Africa, which is KwaZulu-Natal. And here is the province in question, and here is where the Isimangaliso Wetland Park is located. As you can see from the map, a portion of or an extract from the South African map that shows the province in question that zooms specifically to KwaZulu-Natal is indicated here, and this is your Isimangaliso Wetland Park. Please, as you prepare for formal assessments that we have indicated during the start of this lesson, please remember to write the names of these World Heritage Sites as that. It is also of importance for me to indicate that year in and year out, this World Heritage Site poorly perform, and we have indicated it's question 5, and it is a challenge to most of our learners. But if you stick to my advice, to know the location, to know whether it is natural, and the criteria behind its declaration as a World Heritage Site, as well as the year. Now, Isimangaliso, as we have alluded to, is in KwaZulu-Natal, and the type, remember we said we have 3 types: natural, cultural, and mixed World Heritage Site. So Isimangaliso Wetland Park falls into the category of natural. It's natural as indicated, and the criteria that helped UNESCO to declare Isimangaliso Wetland Park as a World Heritage Site, they have looked into criteria number 7, criteria number 9, as well as criteria number 10. Right. You would have to go back to grade 10 work and try to find out what criteria 7, 9, and 10 states. I'm sure you must have learned this some 2 years back. So to refresh your memories, if you can refer on your grade 10 work as to the criteria in full. But no one is going to mark you wrong for writing the numbers of the criteria, because it's taken for granted that we know them. But for you to better understand the World Heritage Site in question, it's proper that you know the criteria or criterion that was involved. So the year of inscription, the year in which Isimangaliso was declared, Isimangaliso Wetland Park was declared a World Heritage Site, was 1999. 1999. Now, here are the important features of the Isimangaliso Wetland Park. I'm emphasizing on the name because I want you to internalize the name and be in a position to write it as is when you are asked. The Isimangaliso Wetland Park, one of its attributes is that it is an outstanding natural wetland and coastal site of South of Africa. It is characterized by natural wetlands and coastal sites of Africa. Remember, I've emphasized on the concept outstanding. It is not just an exhibition of natural wetlands and cultural coastal site. They are outstanding and attracts the eye of the viewer. It has 5 interlinked ecosystems, which are the marine, the coastal, the wetland, the estuarine, and terrestrial base, which suggests it's land-based, which are scenically beautiful and basically unmodified, unchanged by people. These 5 ecosystems, namely the marine, which suggests that it showcases species that live in water. It also shows, or it is a coastal belt. It is found along the coast. The coast is an area next to the ocean. It has wetlands. So water forms an important element of the ecosystem. So the wet land suggests that the area is by and large wet all the time. Estuarine and terrestrial suggest the life that we find, especially that of birds, as defined by estuarine, as well as terrestrial. Terrestrial refers to life that we found on land. So it is a quite fascination of 5 ecosystems, 5 different kinds of life that we find in these World Heritage Sites. And some important elements here will refer to coral reef, the beaches, the sand dunes, the lake system, the swamps, as well as the wetlands. The different ecosystems support over 6,500 animal and plant species. So these wetlands about or over 6,500 animal and life species depends on this ecosystem for existence. Isimangaliso Wetland Park, as we move on, it is the last place on earth where you would find the giant leatherback as well as the loggerhead turtles, which are said to be found only in this region. This is what another aspect that makes it so special. These two lives, these two species of turtle are still found. Still nest suggests that they are still located. They find this place a natural home for them, a natural habitat for them. Now, as we assess the threats that will make Isimangaliso Wetland Park lose its status as a World Heritage Site, is that it is overused from tourism. There is a process taking place that is very unsustainable, that of fishing, which threatens to make some of the fish species to be extinct, and also the invasive alien vegetation. Invasive here referring to the invasion. So the vegetation it's now spoiled by the prevalence of the new species of vegetation. So it loses its natural form because there are some kind of alien or the weeds that spoils the beauty of or the original vegetation as it was prior. Right, as we move on, the next one, it's Robben Island. Its location is the Western Cape province, and the type, it is a cultural, and the criteria was criteria number 3 as well as criteria number 6. The year of inscription, or the year of declaration, or the year in which it was declared a World Heritage Site, it's similar to that of Isimangaliso Wetland Park. So now, what is important here is that by now, you know that 2 of the World Heritage Sites were declared in 1999, and they are Robben Island as well as Isimangaliso Wetland Park that we have just talked about. So these two both were, the similarity is that they were declared World Heritage Site in the year 1999. The type, we said it's cultural, so it is neither natural nor mixed. Remember the categories that we have alluded to before. So Robben Island, it's cultural, and the location on the map, this is an extract to show you where the Western Cape is located, and like we said, it's in the Western Cape. Robben Island, it's positioned here. So I'm sure you won't struggle to identify the location of the 2 World Heritage Sites that we are currently discussing. Robben Island is located in Table Bay, and the city is Cape Town. The nearest city, it's Cape Town. Robben Island was utilized as at various time between the 17th century as well as the 20th century. So when we refer to the 17th century, remember a century is a period of 100 years, and the centuries, the number of centuries are ahead as opposed to the year. So if we speak of the 17th century, we are referring to the years between 1600 to 1699. So that forms a century, a period of 100 years, and it is that period which is marked by the 1600 to 1699 is referred to as the 17th century. And here it says as well as the 20th century. The 20th century is the year between 1900 and 1999. And for those, or for that period in history, Robben Island was used as a prison. It was also used as a hospital for socially unacceptable groups, as well as a military base. So those are the uses. Please internalize them, that it was used as a prison, as a hospital for unacceptable groups, and as well as a military base. So I don't want to delve much into unacceptable groups, but you must well be aware that prior liberation, South Africa experienced an apartheid or separate legislation where people were not equal or were not treated equal before the eyes of the law. So that it's a past history, and people from certain groups that were unacceptable were sent there whenever they are ill. That's where it was used as a hospital, and a military base suggests that training activities for the army were held at Robben Island. So its buildings, and in particular those of the late 20th century, maximum security prison for political prisoners, testify to the way in which democracy and freedom triumphed over oppression and racism, which I've just explained earlier on. Right. So it says political prisoner. I will cite one example. Nelson Mandela spent 18 years of imprisonment in Robben Island. So 18 years of his 27 years in prison was spent in Robben Island, if I were to make an example. Here it further states, here it says, Robben Island is the best known for the prison where Nelson Mandela spent much of his 27 years of imprisonment, which is 18 years. And the threats that characterize Robben Islands is that of late or recently it is poorly maintained and managed. So it is attributed by poor maintenance and management. The pressure of increasing visitors number. So there is visiting the area is not well managed or controlled. So that poses a threat to Robben Island as a World Heritage Site. The third World Heritage Site is the fossil hominid site, and formerly known as the cradle of humankind. So with this, we must try and stick to the new development on this site in respect of its name. It is the fossil hominid site as indicated here. It is no longer the cradle of humankind. So the location of this fossil hominid site of South Africa, in terms of its location, it is found in Gauteng, Limpopo, and Northwest. So it spreads across 3 provinces. In the Northwest, as shown on the map, it is also found in Gauteng and the Limpopo province. So those are your provinces where you'd find the fossil hominid sites. In terms of categorization or the type, it is a cultural. It's neither natural or mixed. So it is plainly cultural. The criteria used for its declaration is criteria number 7 as well as criteria number 6. The year in which it was declared a World Heritage Site, it was 1999. Now this marks the 3rd World Heritage Site that was declared in South Africa in the year 1999. So let's try and unpack this World Heritage Site. The fossil hominid site is made up of 5 different fossil-bearing cave sites, namely the Sterkfontein, the Swartkrans, the Kromdraai, and surrounding areas. So these are the 3 fossil-bearing caves that fossil hominid site of South Africa brags about. The surrounding area here refers to the Makapan Valley as well as the Taung Skull fossil site found in Limpopo and Northwest respectively. Makapan Valley in Limpopo as well as Taung Skull fossil site, which is located in the Northwest. So 3 provinces are involved in these World Heritage Sites. These sites provide evidence of origin and the evolution of humankind over the last 3.5 million years. So it is believed that some evidence of human creation, of human evolution in the past 3.5 million years find its origin in this fossil hominid site of South Africa. Major fossil findings in this World Heritage Site, which is the fossil hominid site, are situated in Taung Skull, that of a 3 or 4 year old. So the year of that of the skull or of this finding suggests that it is of a 3-year-old, if not a 4-year-old. Some fossil findings also are evident of Mrs. Place and Littlefoot, which are situated in the Sterkfontein and surrounding areas. That is in Gauteng, and the first one is in Taung in the Northwest province. As we further move on, The Maloti Drakensberg Park, its location is KwaZulu-Natal, and when we look into our map, you can see where it is located, and the type or the category, it is a mixed heritage, World Heritage Site. So the name is Maloti Drakensberg. Remember, this is a name and it has to be spelled as it reflects here. It is not Drakensberg Maloti Park, it is Maloti Drakensberg Park. I'm making an emphasis of this because sometimes when you are confronted with a question on this, you often swap around the words in the name. So it has to be Maloti Drakensberg Park, not Drakensberg Maloti Park. So you'll be meaning something else when you say Drakensberg Maloti Park, not this World Heritage Park site. So here's the picture, and we have referred to this picture earlier on, and the criteria, it's 1, 3, 7, and 10, and the year of inscription, or the year in which it was declared, it is 2000. And remember, please put in your memory that the first 3 that we have discussed were declared in the year 1999, and now this one, different from the first 3, was authorized to be a World Heritage Site in the year 2000. The Maloti Drakensberg Park forms part of the Maloti Trans-Frontier Park between South Africa and Lesotho. I think I've mentioned this earlier, that it is part of the Maloti Trans-Frontier Park. Trans-Frontier here suggests that to trans is to move across the border. So it is found in between the 2 fronts, the South African front and the Lesotho front. So it creates a border between the 2 countries, but the trans-frontier parks are borderless to allow natural life or natural game to move freely in the park. So the games or animals that are found within the park can roam freely from Lesotho and South Africa. So it is a trans-frontier park. It is part of the Trans-Frontier Park known as Maloti Trans-Frontier Park. This is one explanation when you are asked to explain that you must give. The site has exceptional natural beauty and has a high level of endemic or life that grows only in a specific area. So endemic here suggests that certain species only grow well or survive adequately in only specific area, and threatened birds as well as plant species. The sand rock art of the Drakensberg, created over a period of 4,000 years, is the largest and the most concentrated group of rock painting in Africa, south of Sahara. So it is one of the painting that is outstanding, that happens on a group of rocks in Africa, south of Sahara. The Maloti Drakensberg Park, as we assess the threats, is similar to that which we have discussed earlier on, that we said the prevalence of alien plant species, the existence of these alien plant species formulates a threat. The veld fires, the infrastructural developments that is taking place, because around it they will build hotels, they will build places of entertainment, and that has an impact, or that threatens the well-being of the Maloti Drakensberg Park. Issues of soil erosion, tourist impacts on mountain trails, as well as poaching, illegal hunting of animals creates a threat from for the Maloti Drakensberg Park. As we move further to the fifth one, the Mapungubwe cultural landscape, it is located in Limpopo, and it is cultural as we look into its type. The criteria is 2, 3, 6, and 5. And the year of inscription, the year of declaration was 2003. And on the map, Mapungubwe is far north in Limpopo. And here is a picture that will help you to identify Mapungubwe cultural landscape. Mapungubwe cultural landscape is located in South Africa's border with Zimbabwe and Botswana. So neighboring countries, Botswana and Zimbabwe, they share a border with South Africa. That's where you'll find Mapungubwe. And it is said during the Iron Age, that is the period between 900 to 1300 AD, the kingdom of Mapungubwe was the largest in South Africa. It was the largest kingdom, or an area that was ruled by a king in southern Africa. Mapungubwe was a flourishing city and trading center. So it has lost its initial intentions. It was developing well as a city and a trading center. A trading center, it's where business takes place. Things like selling goods or bartering, exchange of goods, that was taking place during this period in time. Findings at the site have shown that its people traded gold. Now here are the products that were traded here, and ivory with other African people and with countries such as India and China. So it was a trade center, it was a trade station where bartering, by and large, not financial trade, was taking place, because Indians will provide spices, and in exchange of gold, in exchange of ivories that the area is rich on. Mapungubwe cultural landscape, here is the symbol. This gold rhino will help you to identify Mapungubwe cultural landscape when asking a question, or the sooner you come across this kind, know it represents Mapungubwe cultural landscape. In the 14th century, the region became colder and drier, and the people were forced to move away as the land could no longer sustain a high population using traditional farming method. So due to the weather, or unfriendly weather at the time, so it was very difficult for people living in the area to continue with their farming system, which they depended on for feeding, or for feeding up their families. The threats involved with Mapungubwe is that there is a coal mine next to it, and the possibility of the fact that the government may grant more mining licenses is very high. So mining, it's a common threat to the existence of Mapungubwe cultural, or to the protection and preservation of Mapungubwe cultural landscape. The sixth one is the Cape Floral Region Protected Areas. It must be written in full as it appears. Cape Floral Region Protected Areas. It has to be written as indicated here. It shouldn't be the Cape Floral Protected Region Areas or otherwise. It is located in the Western Cape. I think I've alluded to this one. It is a natural World Heritage Site, and the criteria that was used was criteria number 9 and number 10, and the year of declaration was 2004. Please, it is important to note the year of declaration. So in terms of its location, where you see patches of red, it indicates the Cape Floral Region Protected Areas. And as you can see, it overlaps into the Eastern Cape province, but mainly the location of this is in the Western Cape. The Cape Floral Region consists of 8 areas that stretch from the west coast of South Africa to the Eastern Cape. I think I've explained how the Eastern Cape comes into the fray. It is one of the richest areas for plants in the world. For example, it has some fynbos. It also represents less than 0.5% of the area of Africa that is home to nearly 20% of the continent's flora. So from an African perspective, if we take the continent Africa, 20% of species of flora is found in the Cape Floral region. It is of outstanding value to science because of its unique plant reproductive strategies that are adaptive to fire and seed dispersal by ants and termites. The Cape Floral Region Protected Areas, the current threats is the invasion by alien species, fire. It is also threatened by climate change, development pressure caused by growing population. So as the population grows, it also affects the proper existence of this World Heritage Site. The next one is the Vredefort Dome. It is located in the Northwest and Free State provinces. The type or the category is natural, and the criteria is criteria number 8. The year in which it was authorized or declared is 2005, and the massive rock structure here represents the Vredefort Dome, and as you can see, it's just on the border between the Free State province and the Northwest province. So it's a shared World Heritage Site between the two provinces. The Vredefort Dome was caused by a meteor that hit the Earth over 2,000 million years ago. So it is referred to as or its existence owes to the fact that the flying stars hit each other some 2 million years ago, and the end product was this massive rock dome. It is estimated that the meteorite was 10 kilometers in diameter, and it has left a crater that is 300 kilometers in diameter. That explains the size. It provides important information about the Earth's geological history. Geological here refers to the physical structures that we have, the rock structures, the mountains that we have, and as it accounts to the Earth's history. It is the oldest, biggest, and most deeply eroded meteorite crater in the world. This makes it special and unique, hence its recommendation as a World Heritage Site. The threats associated with the Vredefort Dome: much of the land is privately owned, which means special land use planning requirements are necessary. The need to keep the landscape natural and maintain public access to it is one of the things that are necessary. As we move further to the next one is the Rechtersveld Cultural and Botanical Landscape. It is found in the Northern Cape, and it is also cultural. The criteria, it's criteria number 4 and criteria number 5. The year in which it was declared is 2007. I'm sure you are taking note of that. The location, like we said, is the Northern Cape, and this is the exact location on the map. Let's look into this cultural heritage site in detail. The Rechtersveld is the home for the last remaining members of the Nama tribe, who still practice their traditional semi-nomadic way of life. The Nama people or the Nama tribe, it refers to people that have their roots as Namibia and Botswana. So this kind of tribe is found in those two neighboring countries, and some of them are situated within this World Heritage Site in the Rechtersveld Cultural and Botanical Landscape, and who still practice their traditional semi-nomadic. Nomadic here means people who are always moving from one place to another. So this is one attribute of the Nama people. They would move around, spend some time, and after exhausting the resources, or after having not been comfortable where they are situated, then they will migrate to another area. So this is one special characteristic of this World Heritage Site. The Nama people build reed shelters. So these are not permanent structures. They use reeds to build their homes, and they are known for collecting medicinal here suggests medical or plants that are used to make medicines, and practice pastoral grazing with their sheep and goats. Their seasonal pastoral grazing sustains the extensive biodiversity, because they are always on the move. After exhausting grazing of a particular area, they will move forward, and that in itself sustains the biodiversity of the area. The Rechtersveld Cultural and Botanical Landscape, the site provides a perfect example of how humans can coexist with nature without destroying it. So it is more focused on how nature relates, or human being relates to nature without destroying. The ninth one is the Komani cultural landscape. I have alluded before that the hashtag it's important and should be written alongside the name. It is situated in the Northern Cape, and the type, it's cultural, and the criteria was criteria number 5 and criteria number 6, and the year in which it was declared is not long so long ago. It was in 2017, and here is a representation of this cultural landscape in Komani, and from your map it is situated right where there is a red dot from this presentation. The Komani cultural landscape is located at the border of Botswana and Namibia. The site is associated with culture of the formerly nomadic Komani San people and the strategies that allow them to adapt to harsh desert conditions. So it's a very dry area. So the San people predominantly reside the area, and this cultural landscape captures the way the San people and the survival strategies they employ to live in such hard, dry conditions. The Komani San practice a traditional hunter-gatherer way of life. So they will go around, hunt wild animals, and they will gather around a common place and enjoy the meat together. Komani cultural landscape, they follow the track of animals for days and kill the animals with a poisoned arrow. Their knowledge about the use of plants for medicine is well known. They are well known for that. They have developed skills to utilize scarce resources such as water and find plant food in an extremely hostile environment, in an extremely unfriendly environment. They are adapted to such conditions. Barberton Makonja Mountains, located in Mpumalanga, it is a natural World Heritage Site. The criteria used was criteria number 8, and the year of declaration was 2018. So it is situated in Mpumalanga. Here is the exact location on the map, and it is our 10th World Heritage Site and the latest in the list. Barberton Makonja Mountains, this site is one of the world's oldest geological structure, with volcanic and sedimentary rock dating back 3,005 billion years ago. So the main source for its formation is the volcanic eruptions that happened some many years ago, and the type of rock that structure that underlie this World Heritage Site is the sedimentary rock, and it is believed to have happened 3.5 billion years ago. It is the only place on Earth where the development of early Earth and evolution of life itself can be studied. So because of that, the Barberton Makonja Mountains are referred to as the genesis of life, where life has begun. Barberton Makonja Mountain, this site has presented evidence of the oldest fossilized bacteria on the planet. The area is also a rich diversity of plant species, all set in a spectacular scenery, as you can see from the picture here. The site received national and international recognition, which will result in an increase in visitor number. An increase in tourist number will lead to the creation of job opportunities due to increased demand for services. That is unquestionable. Tourism will generate income due to a demand for products and services, for example, accommodation, transport, entry levy, entry fees, food, drinks, and so on and so on. The value of World Heritage Site to South Africa's tourism industry. This is the importance of World Heritage Site. Remember, WHS is an acronym for World Heritage Site. Here is the value as bulleted here. You would have increased visitor number, which will set the multiplier effect into motion. Standards of living will be improved through money directly and indirectly and from tourism. There will be a boost in economic activity, lending itself to increased GDP and benefiting all establishments in the area. Now, there is a few short activities that I want us to look at and to test your understanding of the topic. I'm not going to read through these scenarios as indicated here. In the interest of time, I want us to zoom quickly into the question. Activity number 1. It says, name the province in which the Isimangaluso Wetland Park is located. 5.2, choose the correct type of World Heritage Site in brackets. Isimangaluso Wetland Park, is it a natural, cultural, mixed World Heritage Site? So in response to these questions that were posed, Isimangaluso Wetland Park for 5.1, it is located in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. 5.2, it says choose the correct type of World Heritage Site. The correct type here is natural. As we move further, in another activity, sand that blocked the river and lake from flowing into the sea was removed in January 2021 at the Isimangaluso World Heritage Site. Name the organization responsible for World Heritage Site that might be concerned about the January activities at the Isimangaluso Wetland Park. And in response to that, it will be, the name of the world organization would be UNESCO, as we alluded earlier on. 5.3.2, explain one reason why the organization named in question 5.3.1 will be concerned with this activity. Right. We are at 5.3.2. It says explain one reason why the organization named in question 5.3.1, which is UNESCO, will be concerned with this activity. So their main aim is to protect the existence of this World Heritage Site. So they come in as a body that is responsible for the protection and preservation of World Heritage Sites. Discuss two ways in which the removal of, we have dealt with this one, and here are the answers. I think we have discussed them as we read out the questions. And here are further alternatives for 5.3, why UNESCO has interest. It is known for a fact that ecotourism will increase, lodges, accommodation establishment will receive more visitors, and promote scientific research and training as well as environmental awareness. Activity 2. Identify the World Heritage Sites in the pictures above. If we go back to pictures here, there are two World Heritage Sites indicated, and they are both from the Northern Cape. The first one from our answer series is the Komani cultural landscape, and number B is the Rechtersveld cultural and botanical landscape. In the interest of time, I'm sure you have familiarized yourself with the 10 World Heritage Sites in South Africa, and this marks an end of our discussion of the 10 World Heritage Site. And my advice for you learners is that please study hard, reflect on the 10 World Heritage Site using the points that we have alluded to as we started with this lesson, that you must know where they are located on the map, the year in which they are declared, whether they are mixed, natural or cultural, as well as of paramount or important to know what characterize each of the World Heritage Sites and the threats that are involved. On that note, we have come to the end of this lesson. I wish you all the best as you write assessments based on this question. It is important to work hard on it, and most importantly, please know the names of these 10 World Heritage Sites that are found in South Africa by heart. I thank you all.